Now, most leaders tell me that they have to do hard things as principals, and they welcome that. They ask themselves hard questions about their school. They seek out the data. They don't get defensive about the data. They say, bring it on. I want to compare my school with other schools. I want to know whether we can be better. I want to look at the data within my school and see how my different subject teachers are teaching compared to other subject teachers. I want the data. I want to address within school variation. I want to compare myself to the best schools in the country and internationally. That's what the best leaders do. They welcome that hard stuff. They confront the brutal facts about their organization, and they carry on confronting the brutal facts about their organization, and they hold those difficult conversations. Now, I don't know enough about the culture in Ontario schools, but I do know this. The best leaders hold difficult conversations sometimes, and the worst leaders don't. And by the way, our head teachers in England have told us 88% of them said that the NPQH program did not prepare them to hold a difficult conversation with a member of staff, which tells me two things. One is NPQH has to change, and secondly, the principals should be delegating to their deputies opportunities to hold difficult conversations with members of staff. Because they're not going to learn by doing a role play, they're going to learn by doing it with support. But those difficult conversations, let me just say a bit more about. The member of staff who takes too many Fridays or Mondays off. The member of staff who turns up too late a bit too often. The member of staff who talks down to children, who doesn't prepare their lessons properly. My experience is, unless you have the dialogue with that member of staff, it will not get better. Now, the best head teachers, the best principals, even though they don't want to do it, they'd rather stay under the duvet that morning. They don't want to do this. It's going to be horrible. They're going to have to confront a member of staff about their behavior or about their performance. They get up in the morning, they go into work, and they hold that difficult conversation. And the weak leaders do not. They do not. They hope it will go away. I have two rules on this, and sometimes I get it wrong. But my two rules are, number one, if I see something I'm very unhappy about, never talk to the person in the first 24 hours, in case I'm too cross, and it will show. And number two, always talk to them within the first 2 weeks. Always. And if it's someone I have confidence in, and it's a one-off, I expect them to sort it out. If it's someone I have no confidence in and have a reason for having no confidence in, I tell them what I want to do and expect them to do it. But it's about holding those difficult conversations, and the best principals do it. So confronting the brutal facts and holding the difficult conversations. And the last thing about this, I think, I sometimes see principals who start off full of good intentions and drive, and they start to get some resistance on an initiative, and they question it. They get a lot of resistance and they stop. So then they start a new initiative, they drive, they start to get some resistance, they question it, and then they stop. So these principals keep driving and stopping, driving and stopping, driving and stopping, when they haven't understood the fact that with change, it will get tricky. You will get resistance. If you don't get resistance, you're not getting change. And that notion of driving forward and staff understanding that even if it gets choppy, you are going to drive is a key part of leadership. If you're going to stand, then stand. If you're going to sit, then sit, but don't wobble. It's a key part of leadership. So that notion of indomitable will, resilience, seeing it through, holding those difficult conversations, the best principals do that. The best directors of education do that. The best leaders of national organizations do that.